Hello, welcome back to another Bestlers Hipsters review. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life, Volume 1 of Brian Lee O'Malley's 6-volume series. Now, the reason I will be just focusing on Scott Pilgrim's first outing, is because I have not finished the complete series yet, but man, do I want to. Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life is the story of Scott Pilgrim, obviously, and how his life is falling apart. Now, I think a lot of people would make the assumption that Scott Pilgrim seems to be a bit more
kid-friendly, seems to be a bit more young in nature. Well, I'm here to tell you folks, that cannot be further from the truth.
Scott Pilgrim is a raunchy comedy filled with incredible humor, incredible art style, and an incredible cast of characters. Story and the life of Scott Pilgrim is a rich one. Now, he is a simple 23-year-old man living in Toronto, Canada. And what is he doing? What's the first outing of our heroic character? Well, of course, he's dating a high schooler. Scott Pilgrim is dating a high schooler is the name of the first chapter. And it's incredibly good. Everything about this series is incredible. From the way its panels are set up and come across, to the creative art style of the big anime eyes that you see so prevalently throughout the whole comic. Scott Pilgrim deals with issues of sexuality, of placement, of belief in oneself, and it's also just incredibly funny. Brian Lee O'Malley has constructed an incredible narrative with just so many fun and unique characters. For instance, the character who got me the most laughs is Scott Pilgrim's gay roommate, Wallace. Now, he's not cartoonish done in the 90s gay, where they're overly flamboyant and just terrible. No, he's a pretty down-to-earth guy. He just has some of the best quips in the entire book. It is so funny. Now, a big thing about Scott Pilgrim, even if the laymen don't know anything about it, they know two things. One, I think there was a movie, and two, the 7 Evil Exes. What Scott Pilgrim does really, really well is having that one thing that makes it really different. Now, like I said, the art style and the humor kind of do that on its own, but the fighting with the 7 Evil Exes is incredibly fun and engaging as a reader. In each volume, Scott Pilgrim versus one of Ramona's evil exes. Now, I didn't even start talking about Ramona because she is so important in Scott's life that if you don't know her, then you don't understand the story. See, Scott Pilgrim starts off the story by dating a high schooler, Knives Chow. She is a young, naive 17-year-old girl. Very cute, very nice. But everything changes. Scott likes that he's dating a high school girl. They're simple, they're easy. But then everything changes when he spots Ramona Flowers, a beautiful pink, sometimes pink hair, sometimes green hair, sometimes blue hair girl. But then Scott finds out that he has to defeat 7 evil exes to be with this one girl. Now, one thing that's really fun, and the movie does really well, is exes appear throughout the entire runtime. I'm talking like a movie. Entire book. There's hints at it. And Scott's unbelievable ignorance towards it is just hilarious. Now, in the book, the first fight is with Matthew Patel. Matthew Patel is an incredibly fun character. He also does a spoof of Bollywood in this scene, which is incredibly fun. And he makes they crack jokes about how he looks like he dresses up like a pirate, and how he's just basically a loser because he's the first boss. He's a miner. But that goes into the other inspiration Brian Lee O'Malley had about the book, brought video games. Now, KO is a pretty iconic line from any video game if you've ever played Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. Mainly Street Fighter, though, because Mortal Kombat's more famous for the fatality. But with this, and every time Scott defeats one of the 7 evil X's, they actually drop coins, which I thought was incredibly fun and unique. Pilgrim's Precious Little Life is an incredibly good introduction to the character. Now, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Now, you're probably wondering, Mike, you kind of just gushed about it for so long, and you're not going to give it a 10? Oh, first off, 9 is incredibly good. But I have to say, it is between a 9 and an 8, but I am leaning towards the 9, mainly because the humor works so well for me. But the thing about Scott Pilgrim, if you're not fond of the humor, if you're not a big fan of Brian Lee O'Malley's humor, you will not like it. Because it is a bit more, kind of darker, not darker, more British humor, listic humor. It's situational humor. The whole book is incredibly funny, but if you do not like this humor, you will not like this book. Same with the art style. All the books look the exact same. Scott Pilgrim has only been created by one man, and that is Brian Lee O'Malley. Fun fact, Brian Lee O'Malley, when they were doing the movie back in 2010, he was actually very against it. He never thought that they could do Scott Pilgrim justice. He never thought they could bring it to the big screen. But at the time, he was poor as hell. And he was like, I'm gonna allow them to do it so I can get a big sum of money. And he doesn't regret it. Well, that has been Bessler's review of Scott Pilgrim and His Precious Little Life, Volume 1. I would, in fact, recommend. Alright, this has been Michael Bessler's Hipster's Review. See you next time.